Hi, today we're going to talk about the D major scale extended position. So before we get started, grab your music sheet that says the D major scale extended position and go ahead and tune up your ukulele where you at it. We'll get started in a second. Okay, so you got your music sheet, you tuned up your ukulele. Before we get started, make sure that you looked over your sheet of music, which is exactly like the board, and you made whatever notes you need to help you along. For instance, as you can see, the D major scale extended position goes all the way up the fretboard. So you want to keep in mind that certain notes you can use as markers, like for instance the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th fret. You can use those markers to remind you that certain notes are in certain areas. So in other words, you use these markers, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, to let you know where your location is when you're going and playing the scale, so you can best utilize your spacing and your fingering and just being more aware of the area that you're using on the fretboard. So this is what I suggest you do. Look at the notes, don't play, just go over them really slowly, making sure that you can get all the notes. So in other words, you would do something like, you know, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. So you wouldn't play, you would just kind of find the notes. First of all, get comfortable with the location of where the notes are. And we'll get started in about a second. Okay, so you did what you had to do. You got comfortable. Now we're going to play the notes together. This is not important in how you finger it. We're going to just find the correct notes, making sure that we are playing the correct notes for the D major scale extended position. And picking wise, it don't matter what you're using to pick your strings. The main thing, once again, we get the correct notes together before we move on any further. So before we move on into more lessons on the D major scale, we want to make sure we got the notes down. So let's do it together. I'm just going to use this finger right here to play all my notes. Here we go. And ukulele should be tuned so you sound exactly like me, exactly like my note. Here we go. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Okay, so if you notice, I'm not calling out frets, I'm not calling out strings, etc. So you should know that we're using 2 strings. Your C string, 3rd string, E string, 2nd string. That's the only strings we're using for the D extended position. One more time. Okay? D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Okay, so that should be perfect. In other words, the notes or your notes should be exactly like my notes. If not, you need to work it out and get familiar with the notes, how they sound, what fret they're on. Don't worry about the fingering for now. We're going to get into that on the next lesson. The main thing is that you got all the notes correct. With that being said, find the notes, find the location, know how they sound, get comfortable, and once you get that, the sound of the notes in your head, and you're comfortable with the locations, we'll see you for the next lesson. We'll teach the fingering and the picking and how to practice it. So we'll see you then.